oh, I really thought that was my friend. And I went to bat for them and I helped them get jobs and I helped them move and I stayed up the late nights crying with them and blah, blah, blah. And then they were like, and I'm like, oh my God.
Julia Cameron ate you up.
Oh, me
she
specifically?
ate you up.
Let me fix it.
Oh,
Welcome back. Yes, we are recording. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Welcome back to The Artist Way. Week 10. Delon, how did you do? Pages, artist dates. How did you feel?
Pages were okay. I think I did about four days. There were a couple days where I had to wake up and do stuff for a show that I'm in, so I was a little like, ugh. But I made sure I got those in. But I actually took on the task from last week and really started reading my pages more and highlighting, like you were saying. And so I started taking notes, like I was writing on the things that I was capturing, which was helpful. My artist date, I went to this thing called Lawn on D, like D Street in South Boston here, which is really nice. It was like a cover band. They were playing all the bops, and this man was singing like female Kelly, like in the key. Tore it down. They're a cover band, a wedding band. They were so great. I went with some friends, and that was my artist date, which was really great. How about you? How was yours?
This week was challenging for me. I did not read my chapter. I read I want to say 2 pages of it. I had just an intense week. I think I did 3 out of the 4 days. Okay. I will say one thing that I did. So I went to a craft comedy show. I don't know if you can see this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
Yes.
You made that?
I made this. No pattern, just freestyled. And it was a comedy show that I was on, but then you could do crafts there. So this was my thing. And then I also wanted to show, this was the plate that I made at the
oh my God,
at the pottery class. So I've been putting some jewelry in this.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, isn't that neat? So I picked that up this week.
You've done a lot of artist dates that are very tactile.
Yeah,
it's
I like
making
to make stuff.
things. I've done more performances and taking in.
Well,
stuff.
I went to the
LACMA
consignment.
Stuff.
I went to LACMA. I went to the consignment shop. I thrifted. So I did some of those things. But yeah, I like to make stuff with my hands. I am gonna go to. There's a collage night at my library that I'm gonna go to this week.
Wow.
It's collage. It's collage for storytellers is what it's called. Which I was like, that's really cool, and I love collage. I don't know what it's going to be, but it's a free thing that my local library puts on. So
I feel like that's the universe being like, I still have not done the collage from chapter 8, which is it kind of adds up later on. So there are a couple things tasks that I still haven't done. That's a big one that I really still want to take on. Yeah. Just in terms of when you do get to the reading, if you have time this week, I'm gonna tell you, Julia Cameron ate you up.
Me specifically?
Ate you up. She gobbled you up.
Tell me what she said.
So there's a chapter on competition. And I highlighted this and I was like, oh, this is Fran.
Oh, there's also workaholism.
Well, ate you up, girl. Ate you up. So it's not good or bad, but it's just I was like, oh my God.
You knew it was me.
I know it's huge. One thing I highlighted is, when you are angered about someone else beating you out, remember this. The foot trace mentally is always the ego's demand to not just be good, but also be first and the best. It is the ego's demand that work be totally original, as if such thing were possible. All work is influenced by other work. All people are influenced by other people. No man is an island, and no piece of art is a continent unto itself. Only when he no longer knows what he is doing does the painter do good things.
Wow.
And I just thought, that also speaks to me, right?
Yeah.
But it's the competition of it all. It's like, I have to get it. I have to get it. I have to. You're talking about when you and your partner were out. I don't know if this was off mic, so forgive me if I'm sharing too much, but you were at a party and you were like, God, he was just sharing all of these great things about me that I couldn't see for myself, that's what partnership is, right?
Yeah. And just to tag on to that, it wasn't necessarily that I couldn't see it for myself, but I think because our industry is so product focus. And that's something that you rightfully brought up about like the process versus the product, is that I've had this feeling of like, oh, I'm not doing anything because I don't have anything to show for it.
Right.
And what was so nice is that we were at this party and my partner was just being really like celebratory, and he was like, tell them about the thing that you're working on, tell them what you and Shamika are writing, tell them about your
Your
job
viral
and
video.
your
Right.
viral video, like, and all these things that to me, I'm like, oh, well, those don't count because they're not a movie. They're not a TV show. Like, and that is something that, again, I'm continuing to grapple with. So you are correct in that respect. But like, it's interesting. Something that my former manager said, I remember when I was in the midst of pitching a show, I think we had sold the show to Comedy Central, and another show came out that felt to me kind of similar. And I texted her and I was just like, oh, I'm so pissed that this thing came out and like our show's not ready yet. And she very poignantly said, kind of what's in those pages is like, yeah, but don't you want to live in a world where both of your shows could be on television? That
Mhm.
like, that if that one is out, it doesn't mean that yours can't exist too, that like they could be in conversation with each other, and or the high tide raises all boats of it all, where like we
Mhm.
see something being successful and then like it brings other people along with them. And I think that's just been hard for me, I think, because I have struggled so much with like having to do things on my own and
Mhm.
feeling a sense of competition that I didn't necessarily initiate. This is the thing that you and I've
Mm.
talked about where like,
I see that. I see that. Like rolling back in your history and thinking about, in particular, friendships you tried to bond, ways you tried to bond
yeah,
with other Black
yeah.
female comedians, and you're rejected in a lot of
And being
ways.
like,
Yeah.
why are you suddenly trying to compete with me? Like,
Right.
and looking back, like, yeah, it has been some other Black women, and that hurts the most. But like, I've had that at many moments in my life and career. And I feel like that is why our friendship has been so important to me, because like your wins are really my wins. And
Mm.
there's never been any kind of competition between us. We have such a strong communication. We're so vulnerable with each other. And especially as an only child, I was just really, really craving that. And as soon as I got it, I was
Mm.
like, cool, got it. When you were like, you're leaving, I was like, oh, you're stuck with me for the rest of your life. Like, you're never getting rid of
I
me.
was devastated. Well, because I have abandonment issues. So because when we found it, I was like, wait, what? What are we gonna do? You know?
Yeah, but I am somebody who I love hard, I fall hard, and love in the platonic sense, not just like the
Hmm.
romantic sense. And I've had my heart broken by a number of people who I'm like, "Oh, I really thought that was my friend." And I went to bat for them, and I helped them get jobs, and I helped them move, and I stayed up the late nights crying with them and blah blah blah. And then they were like, and I'm like, "Oh my god."
Yeah.
So I think that I have been bruised in that respect. And so like, yeah, it's resulted in me having a lot of like jealousy and self-loathing and kind of like the comparison game. It's just,
Yeah.
again, I think what's been healing about the artist way is the validation that like those are natural feelings. It's what you do with
Hmm.
those feelings, but also
Yes.
that like that's something that all artists deal with. And it has been like a weight off of my shoulders to just be honest about that.
Yeah, there is like the was it called, like, crabs in a barrel, crabs in a
Mhm.
bucket, in the industry, the idea that like we have to crawl on each other's back to get where we want to.
Mhm.
And I think that's just inherent in the industry in some ways.
Yes.
That you can't help but compare yourself, especially when there aren't as many of us, right?
Mhm.
On screen and on stage. But I think the thing that I really appreciate about what Julie is trying to teach us or help us walk through, in particular in this chapter 10, is that that so much of that is ego needing something. And I think,
Mhm.
like she said this in other chapters, listen to that. The idea that you're going to like not address it and be a cognizant, objective as much as you can be around what the ego needs, and do answer that call. What is it that I can do that isn't just about being on TV, isn't just about the
Mhm.
product? Because for me personally, I'm really starting to discover if I can get rid of some of that kind of performative front facing bullshit that I think I need, and if I can answer it in other ways, then I can actually get to the heart of what I want, what I want to
Mm-hmm.
do, what I want to say, who I want to be, right?
Yeah.
And that's always mixed in there. It's a big braid, don't get me wrong. But I think sometimes the ego, well, a lot of times can be in the driver's seat, because we have to get through there. We have to get there. We have to work. We have to do harder, go
Mm-hmm.
harder.
Mm-hmm.
And the ego is a lot of that driving force. But what we're doing here is we're nurturing the smaller part, the artist
Yeah.
part, right? The child,
Mm-hmm.
as she likes to say a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Do you have
there's
other parts that you want to highlight? Because, like I said, I did not do the I didn't do the reading.
there's a couple other ones. Art needs time to incubate, to sprawl a little, to be ungainly and mishappen, and finally emerge as itself. Like, let it
Mm.
be messy. Let it
Yeah.
be bad. The puke draft is something that I
Oh
learned
yeah,
from
the garbage draft is what we
the
call it.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. Let it be messy until it's not, there was one other, the desire to be better than, in italicized, the desire to be better than could choke off the simple desire to be. As artists, we cannot afford this thinking. It leads us away from our own voices and choices and into a defensive game that centers outside of ourselves and our sphere of influence. It asks us to define our own creativity in terms of someone else's. That's a really great way to
Yeah.
encapsulate competition.
Yeah.
Um, I can't help but be in this dichotomous area with what I want versus what I'm supposed to have, right? I did the Broadway thing, and now I'm teaching, and this is just another part of my life. I could go back to that. I just don't know what I want, so I'm trying something else at the moment, right?
Yeah.
But I am making the comparison not only to other people but to my other life. I did that. I'm supposed to be continue doing that. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know if that's for me anymore. I don't know if I want to do that. I'm actually exploring this other thing that's feeding me in a different way.
Yeah. I'm so happy to hear you say that because again, like it's proof that this process takes time and that you couldn't get here in week one. Like you had to
Yeah.
go through all of these steps in order to get here. One thing that I read like, I don't know, 2 pages. One thing that I highlighted that ironically I do think really speaks to me is like, what are our blocks of choice, so to speak? Like, what is
Mm,
the thing that we're using to keep us from doing the work? And this one says, for many, work is the block of choice. Busy, busy. They grab for tasks to numb themselves. They can't take a half hour's walk. Why waste the time? Must do's and multiple projects are drawn to them like flies to a soda can in the sun. They go buzz, 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 swat as they brush aside the stray thought that was a breakthrough insight. And I'm feeling that really, really heavy right now.
yeah.
I have so much on my plate, and I have not been burnt out like this, and I can't tell you how long. I mean, and to the point that I've had days where I'm so tired that I can't sleep, which is I don't even
Ooh.
like I'm looking at the clock and I'm like I should try to sleep, and then I lay down and I'm like I can't even get my mind to turn off, and
Yeah.
I just like I don't know. I'm really trying to do some self reflection about like where are some places that I can cut back, like just realistically, like where can I cut back, and really trusting that the like moving in abundance of it all. That like if I cut back on some things, that I will be okay. And as I've talked to you off mic, like I'm having a lot of like stress around that.
Yeah.
But I will say I mentioned, dealing with perimenopause, and I made like a doctor's appointment, like I got my blood work done, like I'm trying to be more intentional and like move towards looking at some medical interventions there, and I'm really optimistic that that's going to be a good help to me. I'm just not there yet, but that's part of my brain fog, that's part of me like having a hard time sleeping. um, and yeah, we've had some staffing changes at work, and I'm just taking on way more than I had previously. And I'm only one person and I'm feeling like really burnt out.
I will say, like we've talked about some of that off mic, but the idea that you started with that whole kind of phrase with I actually really have to do an assessment and take things off my plate. That
Yeah.
is huge
Yeah.
because despite you needing to continue to do the work, you're like, hey, something actually has to give because this is not sustainable, and I know what I need to do with for myself, right?
Yeah.
Past this prologue, you've been here before
Yeah.
and you've kind of just allow yourself to burn out. But now you're
Yeah.
saying, hey, actually, and I will. There have been a couple instances, a couple things you said to me off mic where you've been like, oh no, I set this boundary. This is a very clear boundary. If
Yeah.
you are good at nothing else, Fran is going to set a boundary, right?
Yeah.
So like
Yeah. But
you're
I
really
think I
doing that
have,
work.
thank you. I think I have to set the boundaries for myself, right? Like kind
Uh-huh.
and and this is I guess maybe where you and I are really similar, um of taking on all of these things and just like and being really honest with like what I can do, like saying like yeah, I can do that, and then like the realization of like, oh, I actually can't. I actually can't do this. I need to
Yeah.
just like say no to it. Um and trying not to move from a place of scarcity mindset is kind of like where I'm at right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because like look, the reality is I'm doing all of these jobs and I'm thankful that I have all of them, but like they don't all pay a lot of money. And
Bro, you speaking my language.
that's why I'm doing all of them, because I'm trying to like cobble together enough money to live.
Right.
Um and and so it's kind of like the harsh reality of like, okay, but if I don't have the bandwidth to do all these things and I don't have the bandwidth left to do the thing that I really want to do, like is it worth it? And can I just trust that things will align the way that they're supposed to, as they have? Like I don't know. I just yeah.
It's yes, and I think we do have to trust that things will align, like you said, and work out. But I think the physical and psychological fatigue that's happening around it is also some of it's not our fault, as we've talked about on mic. Like
Yeah.
it's just where we are in the world and in our country, and the
And
guarantees
42
that.
fucking years old. I'm about to be 43.
Girl,
That like
girl,
I
getting up nowadays and walking. I got up the other day at rehearsal, and I was like, "Why am I limping? Why am I limping?" Just because my body's like, "Oh, sir, no, we're not as nimble as we used to be," and it's going to, we will never be as healthy and fit as we are right now, right? Like
Mhm.
and that's it. Like to enjoy this, embrace the body, love the body, but it is for real, for real. That's a hard
Yeah.
thing to take. And it's also adulting, man. We talk about adulting all the time. It just seems like it's one thing after another. It's a bill, it's a this, it's a that.
Yes.
This is
Yeah.
just a really hard time of life, not only for everyone, but I think the portion of life that we're in is a little bit difficult in this middle-aged
Yeah.
area.
Yeah. I think one of the things that I've talked about or I saw in a lot of my pages is like reevaluating my relationship with the internet, and like
Mm,
like me being really accessible to my audience has been a superpower, but like it has become such a drain. And not even like, like the people who watch our content, for example, are incredible. But then I also have to encounter so many just like nasty people, so many demanding people, so many people who are just like trying to poke me in bad faith. And even if I don't respond to them, just ingesting it is like
yeah.
having an impact on me. And even just like keeping up with this person and that person are in a squabble and that person's getting dragged, and like the way that that chips away at me, like I have to get really honest with myself about like, I'm nosy and I I like seeing the drama, but like it's not actually good for me. It's not
Yeah.
a good use of my time. And just having to be honest with the fact that like, yeah, I've been able to operate in the past in a space of like being chronically online and like knowing a little bit about everything that's happening, but like I need to unplug a little bit in some respects so that I can really restore my brain. And I think it's just been hard for me because I'm like, well, I work in social. Like
Yeah.
I have to know. And like this is my job. This is, you know, where my friends are. And this is what I want to be able to like have a thought on the world. And it's like,
Yes,
okay, but
and
yes, and is that good for
yeah.
you?
There's this whole task that later in this chapter, she calls them deadlies.
Hmm.
And she asks you to write down specific things that like a deadly is something that you use to block yourself, right? So she talks about food, drug,
Yes.
alcohol, any
Yes.
kind of addictive thing, and the internet falls into that
One
category.
1000%. No
Yeah,
coincidences. It's
it's
not a
right.
coincidence that that was part of this week and that I didn't get to this week and that I let a whole bunch of shit get in the way, you know? Yeah, I think
it's
hmm,
it's it's worth exploring that task. But
yeah.
and listen, there have been week 8, right? Week 8, I didn't do a lot of stuff. Last week I didn't read my pages, so we're doing what we can here,
Yeah.
class, and we hope that you're doing it as well. And I just love that we're going through this process together. I know we praise each other a lot, but I
Yeah.
really am thankful for it. I'm also thankful for the routine of it, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Again, I get up every day, and the one thing I've tried to do for years, and many a therapist has tried to convince me to not go to my inbox right away. I'm always thinking,
Mm.
God, I got to email, got to, because I'll leave something in my inbox for a minute, right? And then and I
Mhm.
get stressed out in the morning. Now I make my coffee, don't no computer. I sit down and I do my pages, or I do
Yeah.
something with the artist way, and I'm really hoping that I can maintain that task because it is specific time for me, and the routine of that has kind of broken me of some of my anxieties when it comes to work.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I was never a morning journaler. It was usually in the evening for me, so that has been a shift for me, but similarly, I it has been really really healing for me and I feel like I've gotten so much out of the pages. I think it's kind of just really doing the assessment of especially now that we're like circling the drain on these last 2 weeks of like what is the thing that I'm taking away from this process that I'm going to start applying into my like real normal life.
Mm-hmm.
And the realization of like certain things that I just are not serving me or certain habits that aren't serving me that I guess I've been trying to hold on to maybe out of fear and or just, you know, the creature of habit.
Yeah.
That's just who I am. I'm so um, I love my routine and like the reality of like, is this routine really serving me? And I'm not sure that it is.
The assessment, though, the idea that we're even addressing it instead of kind of going through the motions,
Mm-hmm.
is one of the gifts that this book has given us.
Yeah.
Class, week 10 we just finished. We're on to week 11. We have 2 more chapters. Like Fran said in our normal episodes, if you watch those, we are looking for another kind of
Yeah.
endeavor here. Fran has a great game by Esther Perel that she might bring
Mm-hmm.
to bear on Sundays. But if you have a suggestion for a book or some kind of course that you would like us to try next, and you want to join us with that, please let us know. Let me fix it. Let me fix it.
Let me fix it pod at gmail.com.
Or at FixitPod on social media. My brain is slow.
Yeah. Listen,
Anyway,
so is mine.
I'm trying to like cram Shakespeare into my head for this performance. Anyway, class, we love you. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.